Hey, read through the word. Today's April 12th, and today's lesson is called A Heart for the Throne. A Heart for the Throne. That's the name of the lesson. For a moment, I looked at the date, and y'all know I record these ahead of time a little bit. I'll try to get better at this but today is my daughter's birthday, April 12th. So, she leaves 12-year-old in her first year as a teenager, turns 13. Today is her birthday. We are going to talk about Saul today. And we are in 1 Samuel chapter 13. And we're going to do the way our reading has it. We're going to read 7b through 14. Meanwhile, Saul stayed at Gilgal, and his men were trembling with fear. Saul waited there 7 days for Samuel, as Samuel had instructed him earlier, but Samuel still didn't come. Saul realized that his troops were rapidly slipping away, so he demanded, "Bring me the burnt offering and the peace offerings." And Saul sacrificed the burnt offering himself. Just as Saul was finishing with the burnt offering, Samuel arrived, and Saul went out to meet him and welcome him. But Samuel said, "What is this that you have done?" And Saul replied, "I saw my men scattering from me, and you didn't arrive when you said you would. And the Philistines at Micmash are ready for battle. So I said, the Philistines are ready to march against us at Gilgal, and I haven't even asked for the Lord's help. So I felt compelled to offer the burnt offering myself before you came." "How foolish," Samuel exclaimed. "You have not kept the command of the Lord your God gave you. Had you kept it, the Lord would have established your kingdom over Israel forever. But now your kingdom must end, for the Lord has sought out a man after his own heart. The Lord has already appointed him to be the leader of his people, because you have not kept the Lord's command." Okay, let's talk about Saul. You're like, wow, that was fast. Yes. And I told you it wouldn't take them long to wish they hadn't done it, and it didn't. I was trying to find the verse. I think it might be 12. Let's look. Hold on, we're looking. Yeah. If you go back to chapter 12 and read toward the end of chapter 12, they're like, yeah, never mind. So, but here we are. Here we are with Saul. So let's talk about this. Saul began well. Now, I will read this to you from the What the Bible's All About book. And you're like, Lisa, that looks different from what. It's all the same. It's just different revisions. So, this one's probably my oldest one I've got. It's fallen apart. And this is what's funny is as I say, today is, all right, I'm about to show this picture. There's a picture that my sweet friend Miss Dolly took of me. And Miss Dolly's in a nursing home in Dutton. It's a lot different now than she was when she took this picture 13 years ago. She took this picture of me the Friday before I had my daughter on that Monday. And there I am. And look how huge. My daughter was 10 pounds and 9 ounces. So there's a picture of me pregnant with my daughter. It's in this book. I keep it in this book. So that'll tell you how long I've had this book. This was, it was a Thursday before I had her. The Thursday before I had her that Monday. Okay, so that's how long I've had this book a long time. Saul was their first king. Oh, Saul, their first king, was a failure. He was handsome to look at. He was tall and of a noble mien. He started out splendidly. He proved to be an able military leader. He defeated the enemies about him, the Philistines, the Amalekites, and the Ammonites. He was humble at first, but we find him becoming proud and disobedient to God. No man had a greater opportunity than Saul, and no man was a greater failure. His jealousy of David bordered on insanity. Inasmuch as Saul was granted to Israel as king in response to Israel's sinful demand for a king, did Saul ever really have a chance to make good in God's sight? Could he possibly have succeeded under such circumstances? Was he not condemned as a failure even before he started? We find that answer clearly in God's word. In 1 Samuel 12 through 15, the prophet of God tells Israel that though they demanded their king in defiance to God, if both they and the king would fear God and serve him, all would be well. Note what follows this word of Samuel in verses 16 through 18. We see the fact that Israel confesses her sin in asking for the king in verse 19. And Samuel reassures Israel, promising blessing if they serve God. The only reason any soul was ever rejected by God is that soul has first rejected God. God takes the initiative in love. We love because he first loved us. 1 John 4:19. The people take the initiative in sin. 1 Samuel 15:23. So I wanted to read that little section to you out of that book. I thought that was a great Henrietta Mears discussion of Saul. But he begins well. I mean, he looked like a king. He came from a great family. I like the way it says that his head, he was taller than everyone else from his shoulder, from his neck to his head, which means like everybody else came this height to him. He was tall. So he was tall. He was from a good family. He fit the part well. He looked kingly. He showed strong leadership, military. He planned well to defend his people. You see him starting out in all of these people he's going up against. Because I need to remind you that even though he's anointed king, we're still in that cycle from the book. There are not defined at this point, because the Philistines, the Ammonites, the Amalekites, all the people are coming in. It's still that cycle that was going on in the book of Judges of oppressors. But now there's a king. And so we're still going to need boundaries and walls and a capital. And that's not going to come till we get to David. Spoiler. But so all of this fighting is still happening to get people out of the land and make it theirs. So he's doing that. But there are warning signs. There are warning signs all along. Saul had a temper. Quick. He made rash vows. One with the Philistines that almost got his son killed. He was impatient. We just read about that. He was a people pleaser. If you notice in the discussion he has with Samuel there, he's like, but, they were going to leave me. You know, I had to look good because they were about to, this is my paraphrase. They were about to leave. Samuel, you didn't show up. What was I supposed to do? They were going to leave. I had to make them happy so they'd stay. So I just did it. Wasn't a big deal. Wasn't a big deal. He thought as king, he could do whatever he wanted. And that's going to continue. Now, here we have, okay, this could have gone well for you. And Samuel says, but, you know, your kingdom's going to stop with you. It's not going any further. And then it's going to get worse. Just hold on. Just wait as you read. He tries to act like a priest. He will continue to disobey God. I always say, you know, even Samuel right there in that discussion says to him, the Lord your God. But if you will go, and I tell y'all this every time we read about Saul and Samuel and God, that this discussion between Samuel and Saul will always be Samuel trying to tell Saul that Saul, he is your God. But Saul always calls him your God, not my God. when he talks about, and you'll see David call him my God, but you never see Saul say it. You always see Saul call him your God to Samuel. So, or he'll call him, he won't ever call him mine. He never gets like that. They never has a heart. Because Saul has a heart for the throne. And what we're going to watch is he's going to lie for it. He's going to cheat for it. He's going to kill for it. He's willing to go a whole lot further. He never tracks David down, but he kills priests. He's going to do a lot of things. Because here is the truth of Saul. Saul had a heart for the throne. Saul never had a heart for God. Of anybody who had most potential, I say that of Saul, and I say it of Solomon too. And they picked worldly things other than God. And this is, I don't share these a lot on here, but the to-do, that's why we meet with the Lord daily. We meet with the Lord daily that we find our satisfaction in Him. Not the things He can give us and not what He does for us. Those are extra. We just went through this past weekend of a reminder of the cross and what was given for us there. Wasn't that enough? He is enough. We find our satisfaction in Him. May it be said that I have a heart for God. And not like Saul's. We'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.